of messing around with my Yz250x. We put the new plastics on this the last two videos, and I said I wasn't going to put the E-start on, but I'm probably going to just put it on in this video. I don't know, it's winter, and I ride this in the winter for my enduro bike with studs. And once the engine's warmed up, that E button, that push start button is like really nice to have. I don't even know how much riding I'm going to be able to do this winter, but I'll throw it on and then I'll probably take it off in the spring or in the summer when I kind of turn this back into my track bike, so I can be a little bit lighter on the track. So yeah, so the first thing we got to do is just take this thing apart. Even though I just put it together, we're going to take the seat and the gas tank off so we can easily like run our controls and get them zip tied properly. So yeah, let's take this thing apart. So next thing I'm going to do is just pull the spark plug out and put a plug in there, stopper, so I can lock the engine up. I think I just got a text message at the... Yeah, I'm just going to lock the engine up with a plug. I use this cheap one. This actually came with the kit. It will lock your engine up, right? You put it in the start, the spark plugs. So I had a Tusk one, actually it's over here. So I bought this Tusk metal, and immediately this tip fell out when I screwed it into the friggin' into the head. Yeah, so I fished it out and glued it back in here, but I pretty much will never use this one. All right, so next we're gonna pull the shift lever off. I'll definitely fast forward this part. Wiggle that out. All right, so let's take the cover off. This is just plastic, so you're actually getting quite a bit more protection with the Fiche Moto case cover. So yeah, so I got my Stealthy flywheel weight on there. That's like the 9-ounce flywheel weight, and we're gonna have to pull that off. So if you run a Yz250x with like a 9 or 11-ounce flywheel weight and you put this Fiche Moto kit in, it's gonna feel very similar, if not the exact same. So that's how it feels. Yeah, so what do we need here? A couple small Allen keys. All right, so let's just put this all on a scale here before I get carried away. This is gonna get nuts. What do we got? 154.2 ounces. 9 pounds. So that's 9 pounds of stuff on your bike if you decide to go this route. All right, so you just gotta take these Allen bolts out. So yeah, this is the puller. It comes with your flywheel kit when you put something on like that. So, and this is why you need the engine locked up, because you need to twist this off. All right, let's see if we can break my engine. Tighten these up a bit, not crazy. You don't have to go crazy on those. This is the part that I think I have to go that way. And you just gotta tap this out a bit, I think. So reverse. No, let's put it up a bit.
There you go. That's how you get it out. That's how you get your stealthy flywheel weight off. You seen it here. So yeah, before we get carried away and just slap this thing together, I'll point out that this is the second time I'm putting this on. So the first time I had to slice this rubber gasket on your crankcase. You slice it flush with this metal here. This metal here, you basically have to run your razor blade flush. Now you can see I got a little bit of schmutz here left over from the last time. That's okay, because what we're gonna do here is clean this up. We're gonna put a little bit more RTV on that. This got 2 coats of RTV, and if you get the kit and read the directions, this is the sketchiest part. So it says do 1 coat of RTV around this and the inside. I did 2 coats, and I've never had this thing leak. So we're gonna fill this thing with oil. So yeah, you're gonna have to cut this, RTV it. I'd recommend RTVing 2 times, so that's twice as long. It's going to take you twice as long to do as just, once, but it's worth it. I've never had a leak. The most important thing I can tell you is don't cut this rubber gasket shy of your case. Keep it proud. If anything, you can keep it a little bit proud. And before you go to cut it, push this thing, push it in all the way. Don't let it be out a little bit and then cut it flat, because when you push it in, you're going to be too below. Make sure you cut it right, like right on same level. All right, so that's important. Actually, another thing that I'm going to point out we need to do is we're going to clean this inside up. This is really dirty. And we're going to be putting transmission oil in here, and we don't want all that shit in there. So we're going to clean that out, and then I'll talk about putting the gear wheel on and how Cody Webb broke his and how I broke mine and how I got it fixed and why people don't like this and why, I haven't had any problems with it, and how the reason why I broke it is totally different than how Cody Webb broke his. And it's just something to think about. We'll talk about that in a second. All right, to clean this out, I'm just going to use some engine degreaser and some air. So let's clean it out. Don't really want to let that degreaser just sitting there too long either. You want to clean it out real quick. I don't know what degreaser does to engine gaskets and RTV, but you don't need to let it soak. Just clean it out. This isn't your clutch basket or anything like that. We just don't want a bunch of crud floating around in the oil, if possible. Probably good with just that. That'll get it. Yeah, that'll do it. All right, I'm happy with that. Looks nice and clean to me. All right, so let's talk about breaking this thing. So yeah, I broke mine, and I'll tell you how I broke it. I guess I'll tell you how I'm pretty sure Cody Webb broke his as well. So when Webb broke his, I'm pretty sure from what I gather on the interweb is that this thing screws on here. It's not what I gather, but that's a fact. So this thing screws on there, and it's torqued down to 45 Newton meters or whatever it is. It's in the instructions here. Let's take a look. 45 foot-pound or 61 Newton meters. So you got to have that torqued down. And Does it say use Loctite? Let's find out. No, it doesn't say use Loctite. I do use Loctite. Because what I think happened to Cody Webb is this thing will, even though you're doing to spec, Cody Webb's a madman and he is railing his bike. This thing backed off. It backed off far enough that it backed off into this case. It bound the entire bike. And then because of that, it has behind the flywheel weight, the standard stock Yz250 flywheel weight is the woodruff key. And if I were to pull this, which I'm not gonna because I don't need to, you would see that there's a little key inside of there. So when this bound up, it stopped, and then that woodruff key shears off. That's its design, is to shear off and release load. And that's how basically he lost drive in that race that I think everyone knows about. So yeah, when I broke mine, it's not at all what happened to me. So I have an Apex head on this, you can see. So I live in Canada and it's quite cold here, and I don't know, we're at sea level. I don't know how things work, but I always found this tough to cold start with the e-starter. I just couldn't do it. When I'd pull up in the winter, I'd have to kickstart it, but once it's warm, the e-start works every time. This summer, I got a little bit impatient and I thought, like, well, it's hot out. I'm gonna jump on my bike and just e-start the thing until it goes. And I e-started it probably like 4, 5, 6, 7 times, and then it just bound up. It just stopped. It was like click, click, click. It sounded like a solenoid was misfiring. And I was like, what's going on? So what had happened was, when I was doing that, for whatever reason in my bike, there was too much compression and it was too cold for these teeth. And inside there's another gear. If I were to take this cover off, there's another gear in here. Those 2 gears lost 4 teeth, 2 teeth each, trying to cold start my fiche e-start. Now, they were amazing to deal with, and they gave me brand new gears and all new components for inside this housing. So yeah, I think it was user error. This isn't a stock feature on the bike. You kind of need to respect that a little bit. And once the bike is warm, man, it starts with that button flawlessly, and it's really nice. So I think there's a link below to like a whole minute-long edit of me just e-starting this thing, and it's wonderful. So yeah, I trust it. But what I do, long story short, is I'm gonna put some Loctite on here. A generous amount also, I will say. Just a little bit less maybe. So you gotta line these pins up with these holes right here. So that's pretty easy. And it doesn't twist on like this. You have to use the center. So it's on there, and then you got to torque that down to 45. Let's get that back up. So now I go down to 45. That's that. Yep, that's 45 right there. So that's as tight as you make it. And you're supposed to check it every like 20 hours, it says. So yeah, that's installing the gear wheel slash flywheel weight. And the next part is even easier. Just put this on. I got to get a gasket, but we'll put that on and get going here. All right, so this is my old gasket I'm gonna reuse. I cleaned it up a little bit. I'm gonna have to use a little bit of this RTV. This is as per the instructions. We're gonna put a couple of dollops on this thing. We're gonna put one down here, and we're gonna put another one up here, but we're gonna put it on the actual gasket itself. Right, so I'm just gonna apply that here. Again, this is all in the instructions. Just a bit there, and down here. Just gonna run just a bead, a thin bead along the bottom. So yeah, that's the gasket, and this goes on like so. So basically, the RTV is just I probably use too much, but the RTV is just to hold it on while you're putting the case cover on. But because I've already RTV'd this once and I didn't spend a ton of time cleaning it, I just smeared it a bit more. And they have gaskets on their website, so you get yourself some replacements. And so now that that's sitting there, we gotta grab our starter cover, and I gotta get the hardware, so I'll be right back. All right, so with that thing held on by RTV, it's a lot easier now to just kind of, from the bottom, you just kind of lift it over the gear. Again, lift it over, and then we have it's almost sealed, but I'm gonna turn the gears with this tool that comes with the kit and kind of get those things perfectly meshed up there. So now it's sitting flat against the case, the left side case, and we're gonna fire in some of these hardwares. Right? So I'm not too sure, but I think this is just a regular starter. Like, I think you can get these things anywhere. I don't know though. Pretty sure. Pretty sure. And that should just go in there. Interlock. Nice feeling to that. And then lock it into place with these. That's literally all there is to it. And then you have that on your bike. And you can kickstart your bike right now still. It'll still run once I put a spark plug in it, but yeah, so that's the Fiche Moto E-Star kit, and we're gonna finish up the harness. We're gonna put the spark plug back in here, and yeah, let's keep moving on. So it's super dirty. I just wanted to give you guys a look at underneath here. So all that schmutz there, that's my RTV job. Like, there's a little dangly bit, that's RTV. It's got hella dirt on it, but it holds transmission fluid in this case. So yeah, there's a port here to put our transmission fluid in, which we're gonna do in a bit, and yeah, we're gonna keep going here. I'm gonna put my lever back on as well. All right, so this is how you're gonna have the battery in the mount harness with the harness attached to the battery. This whole thing is gonna slide down into the airbox. I'm just gonna shove it down in here, and it's gonna sit in there, sort of something like that. We're gonna fix it up. All right, so it's in there. We got this locked in. It's not going anywhere. Got some wires in there running across the air filter, but that's okay. We got our power connected and our ground. We have our control wire fed through, And so that's the install. We're gonna put on this switch and put the plastics back on. That'll be it. That's it, guys. That's the fiche moto install. Sitting nice in there. If you guys are looking for one, just go over to fichemoto.com and get you one. It's the control on the handlebars there. So I'll do another video with me riding this. Like I said, I warm it up with the kickstart, and then once it's warm, I use the e-start. Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Peace. Alright guys, bike's warmed up. I've been out here for an hour. See if the e-start works. There it is. That's the e-start. Fiche moto. Kind of needed it back there too, so yeah, there you go. Get you one.